Hey, guys. Disappointed with the outcome, obviously Thursday night, but very pleased with how we played in many areas. Moral victories aren't much fun, but I do think there's a lot to build on. Felt like we played, at least the first half, played our best football of the season, which we clearly need to build off of and find that football team consistently. We still turned the ball over too much. We stayed away from, the big, undisciplined penalty, but did still have a couple tough penalties that hurt us. But if we can get those things under control on a consistent basis, we're starting to show we can play physical ball. We ran the ball well at times. We defended in one-on-one areas. We elevated and played above the rim in a few areas. Just some things that we haven't been able to see the last few weeks that we need to put on the field on a weekly basis. So if we can capture that first half football team that played really well in all three phases, then we got a chance to be competitive down the stretch. We need it now more than we ever have. Conference play is really, really here in a way. Having lost to UNLV, we just don't have the luxury of letting games drop. I would like to think that we're starting to see a team that can play competitively in the Mountain West. I think it's wide open. You look across the board and everybody's struggling to find consistency. If we can be that team that can click and start doing that on a weekly basis, then who knows what this group's capable of. Air Force obviously presents tremendous issues for you with the triple, seeing it one time a year, and some days you stone it, and some days, like last year, they go up and down the field. So this week is going to tell us a lot about who we are and moving forward. But I thought Coop did a good job. He can't turn the ball over. There's a couple plays he'd love to have back, but he was poised. He gave us a chance to be competitive and control the offense most of the night. He's only going to get better as he moves forward, and hopefully he'll learn from a couple mistakes and just keep getting better each week. So with that, any questions you got, I'll be happy to answer.
Coach, Brian Phillips, Big Blue.
There we go.
Okay. News. Quick question about Coop. Couple of the interceptions late in the game, do you feel like those were more of just trying to push the ball downfield when you're down double digits late, as opposed to potentially poor decision-making?
Coop had, am I right, 3 turnovers on the night? Fumble and 2 picks, right? Fumble was bad ball security, can't happen. Ball was loose. The first interception, ball was tipped. Nothing he could do about it. He's trying to put the ball in the right place. The interception late in the game, I think, is one you're asking about. Honestly, it's a bad decision on his part. Now, you get into a 2-minute type scenario, drop 8, the windows are going to be smaller. You got to be very deliberate about what you're doing. Wideouts need to really work with him and try to find open grass, and then he's got to be willing to check the ball down there. There were 2 other available places to go with the ball that would have been better decisions than the one he took. He's going to get better. He just struggled to move through his progression at the pace he needed to in that environment. That's something I think more reps are going to help him. He'll get better at it. He should have checked the ball down. It's one he'd like to have back.
Hey, Coach Al Lewis from the radio station. Can I ask you about Alfred Edwards and Robert Briggs for this week, do you think?
Yeah, Briggs is fine. He got back in. He just got dinged up for a little bit. He and Calvin both missed a little bit of time during that game. Both were able to get back. And I would expect both running backs at full speed. Alfred worked out this morning in a limited capacity with the trainers. He looks like he will be ready to go this week. Now, it is going to depend on him having a good week of work. But all indications are we should have him back on the field.
So then how did you feel the 2 tackles when moving south over to the other side? How did you think that went in the game against BYU?
Well, in the sense that we didn't spend a lot of time dropping back, but we weren't getting lit up with the pass rush. We ran the ball effectively. Now we made some mistakes. There was a crucial 3rd and 1 that Cole got beat on the right side. That he'd love to have that play back. It ended up forcing us into a field goal situation. There were a couple other issues, but they were big and physical. And I thought for the most part, most of the night, both handled themselves really, really well.
Coach, Jake Nielsen, KSL.com. Is it fair to say like you look on paper and this team is 1-4, but with the majority of conference remaining and just the way the conference is looked at, is it fair to say that maybe the belief that your guys' team has is maybe a little bit, the mentality is just a little bit different than maybe a traditional team that starts the season 1-4?
Yeah, we're 1-4 record-wise, but I don't feel like the personality of the team right now or the morale of the team is that that we're better than that. We're starting to trend in the right way. We're starting to look better week by week. Guys are growing up one rep at a time. Honestly, one good play and one mistake at a time. We earn those losses. I mean, it's our fault, but this team could very easily have a different record, and really all that matters is what's in front of us anyway. At this point, they've not given up on the process of getting better and working hard and taking accountability for mistakes. That showed, I think, Thursday night. If we weren't willing to continue to work, we wouldn't be getting better. I'm encouraging them to do the same thing, and this week is the most important game of the season. So, I think there's a thought process as we are better than the record indicates. We have better football still ahead of us, and this conference is wide open. We have just as much right to play for a conference title at the end of the season as anybody else if we can find the consistency that we show at times. We have to find it really daily in every quarter and in every game. And that is a challenge. I'm not making a light of that at all. That is something we've not found yet. But when we show it and all three phases show up like they did in the first half, we're as good as anybody we're going to play. And so that's what we're trying desperately to cling to and build on. And I do think that is the sense of the thought process in the locker room, not just from me and the coaching staff, but I think our kids see that and are fighting to get to be that team, if that makes sense.
Coach Anderson, Jason Turner from the Herald Journal. Last year's game against Air Force was a shootout. I mean, it was almost 1,300 total yards. But how much do you feel you learned just from going up against them last year that'll maybe help you scheme against their triple option a little bit better?
Well, Mike Thiessen's honestly a really close friend of mine. He's been running that offense for a long, long time. Here's what I've found, and I've played against triple option teams most of my career. You find out very quickly in the game if your plan is going to work or not. And there's games that it's 14-13, it's 13-10. There's games it's 62-58, and it's 45-4. I've been in both of those. And typically, defensively, you put together a plan, you go in, and if you execute it well and you can really keep it to a low-scoring game, then man, you're excited. There are all those days, and last year was one of them, where our plan just wasn't very effective. Whether it was personnel or plan or all the above, they just kind of had our number, and luckily we were able to outscore them. I've been in them in every way possible. What's this week going to look like? I have no idea, and we won't find out till midway in the first quarter what our plan looks like. Can we execute it? Can our guys keep the play-action pass in front of them? Can we handle, dive quarterback pitch effectively and the counters that come off of it? Man, it is a huge challenge, and games, you don't tend to see games kind of in between. You see either really low scoring and a lot of punts and a lot of stops, or it's the exact opposite. It's a shootout. You just don't see a lot of games in between with these guys and these styles of offenses, if that makes sense.
Coach, Patrick Mayhorn with the Ag Ship. Obviously, there was quite a bit more quarterback running in the run game, but it seemed like there was more diversity in running back plays as well, more counter, more pin pull, stuff like that. Did you see that, and is that related to Cooper, or is it more just part of the offense that you wanted to add more to?
I think variety in the run game was a lot of it had to do with what we needed to do to be effective against BYU's front. We handled the run game against them last year on some of the ways we were assigning our techniques, and we did learn a lot from year one against them, and we did a much better job of pushing our calls to the right bodies and getting people covered up better than we did a year ago. We did get out on the edges of the defense a little bit more, something that just self-analysis over the first month of the season, something we needed to utilize more. Quarterback run game clearly had to do with Coop's legs, but some of the other stuff we ran is just a progression of what we're going to have to do offensively with our running game to be more effective, and what was beneficial to us against the way they played us and how they're built. So the answer is kind of all the above, if I can answer it that way. All of them were factors in how we kind of adjusted the scheme.
I want to ask about the special teams as well. I believe Max Alford was a captain last week. Jalen Royals looked like almost got home on a punt block. Cooper Jones has been doing well returning punts. What has been your feeling on the special teams unit this season? A lot of the young guys kind of stepping up there.
Yeah, a lot of young guys playing. Max was a captain because he's showing up every week and giving us great effort in practice. We choose captains based off of just day-to-day work ethic, accountability, guys that really exemplify what being a great teammate means. It doesn't matter senior to freshman, anywhere in between. Doesn't have to do with stats. It has to do with what they look like on a daily basis. Do they exemplify what team and team first mean, and selfless, tough, and accountable? And so that's why Max was chosen, and he's been that guy since day one and making an impact on special teams. Going to be, I think, a phenomenal linebacker for us in the future as he starts to play at that position. You're right, Jalen had a chance to get there. We've blocked 2 this year and blocked 4 when you consider the 2 in the championship game. In recent history, we want people to know that if you have a flaw in your protection, we'll come after you. But also, we're starting to return the ball better. Coop's getting more and more comfortable at getting downhill. That was a huge return at the time, and obviously created an opportunity to get some points. I think special teams has probably been our most consistent unit all season in terms of just week to week really showing up and getting better. We still got some mistakes. We let a kick return get outside of us that didn't need to, and we've given up a couple explosive returns this season. But all in all, we're protecting well. We're covering fairly well. Punt return and punt block is starting to get going. We've had the touchdown on kickoff return. Really, all 4 units have shown up at some point. And it's going to be critical that they just continue to get better. Close games, conference opponents, especially as the season goes on, they're going to have to make plays. That's only, we won the championship last year because they made plays as well. So it's critical that we continue to improve, and I'm proud of them up to this point.
Coach Ryan Priest, KSLSports.com. You've been using words like consistency, clinging to, trying to find some positives in play and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if this is a team, especially with the shift from Logan Bonner to Coop at quarterback, is this a team that is still searching for its identity right now?
Probably a little bit. I do feel like that we had more to build off of in this particular game. I feel like leadership is starting to emerge in a daily manner. Guys have kind of taken ownership. I always feel like you got a chance to have a better team when it's coming from inside, not from the coaches. We can only push so much, and they'll only listen to so much. They tend to hear each other way more. We made less mistakes. We avoided the big penalties along the way. And when I say that, we still had some, but they were competitive penalties, not undisciplined penalties, if that makes sense. So I think they're starting to find maybe a rhythm to some degree, and that is our identity, that if we will pay attention to detail just a little bit more, I don't know, purposely, that we got a chance to be a good football team. And, now that Coop's the quarterback, they'll rally around him. Sometimes that galvanizes the team as well. They know we need to pick up the slack for him, make plays for him, make him comfortable, allow him to be better at his job. Maybe that's going to be a catalyst for us to getting better. But I think mainly we started to see some improvement on the field. When you see what you did in the meeting room, on the practice field, start to carry over to the field, that's when confidence is built. That's when you start playing better, and I'm hoping that that's where we're at moving forward.
Coach, are you guys going to try to appeal the first half suspension for Gervin Hall? And if not, what impact is that not having him for that first half on Saturday?
Well, he's really, really good tackler, and you have to tackle well against the triple. He's played a lot of snaps, which is helpful. He's played against triple option teams in his career as well. Not having him, it'd be huge. Somebody else has got to step up, and we'll deal with that. We are reviewing it. We are trying to get it reviewed, and would love for it to be overturned. We got to prepare either way. I think we'll know by the end of the day whether that's going to happen or not.
Hey, Coach Al again. Air Force playing against them, you always think about the rushing that they do, but their defense is ranked way up there in the country everywhere. They haven't let anybody score any more than 21 points. Can you talk about what they're doing on defense? It's obviously really good.
Yeah, they do a great job. Number one, they shorten the game and they don't play a ton of snaps. I mean, they're not going to play typically a ton of snaps. They're going to limit your possession. So when their defense does go out, they're not playing 80, 90 snaps a game. They're keeping it to 50 and 60, which is manageable. They're extremely sound, well taught, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't hurt themselves. They make you earn it. Now, we were able to get them in space last year and have probably the most explosive game against them all year, but that's not something you typically see them do. It is hard to score. They're physical. They make you one-dimensional. They stop the run typically on a weekly basis. They are so physical against the run. They force you to put the ball in space, and then I think they rally and defend it well. But I think their formula is shorten the game, play fewer snaps, be more physical than the opponent, and don't make a lot of mistakes, and that tends to be a really good defensive team.
And then last week, they had their best passing game. Was that because Navy knows how to defend the run better and they had to throw more, or what?
Well, it doesn't hurt that Navy's pretty good at playing the triple and defending the triple. Their quarterback can throw the ball and throw it very effectively. And you tend to be downhill and occupied with quarterback dive and pitch, and the next thing you know, they got a guy running right past you and he can make all the throws. So the discipline to be able to come off the triple and play the action and the drop back pass off of it is critical to keeping the score down. You can stop, dive quarterback pitch all you want to, but if you give up the post route or the seam wheel or the four verts off of it and it ends up in the end zone, then they're going to light you up on the scoreboard. So Navy did a great job, but I think it's just what they do every single day. That game always tends to be a very low-scoring, very defensive battle because they just know each other so well, and they see it every day. We see it 4 days a week. Get ready to play a game on Saturday. That's a lot tougher to be disciplined in those environments.
Coach Brian Phillips again. I noticed you used the tight end a little bit in the run game, lining him up off the right or left tackle, and almost like a lead blocker when you're running outside. And also you had the 37-yard explosive to Brock Lane that also unfortunately got called back. Is using the tight end a little more, was that by design, or is it just as play dictates?
Run game, they're involved heavily in the run game regardless, and we're trying to find ways to get them free in the throw game as well. A couple other opportunities that didn't necessarily go to them, they could have been targeted. Brock ran right by the safety. Unfortunately, he missed the rest of the game with a hamstring issue, and he is questionable as to whether or not he'll be back. I'm hoping he recovers quickly, but if you notice, he didn't go back out the rest of the game. He tweaked a hamstring on that particular play. So they're always a huge part of what we do in the run game, whether it be on the edge or when they pull on counter or insert on zone. And, we always looking for ways to find matchups that benefit us with those guys. So I'd like to get them involved more. Hopefully that's something that we can do. Anything else, folks? I said this the other day. I'm going to say it again. Aggie Nation, we need you more than ever. There's never been a more important game, and these guys are getting better, but they need you. So if you don't have anything to do Saturday, or if you do, cancel it and come on out. Homecoming, need it crazy, need it loud, man. Help build these guys up. Hopefully our best team plays Saturday when we need it most. Thanks, guys.